tremors experienced in several areas in Kandy. The first tremor reported at 3.5 magnitude on the Richter scale at the Victoria Reservoir seismometer. Attorney General informs Justice Secretary the 20th draft amendment may be enacted by Parliament with a 2/3 majority of all members and does not attract holding a referendum. Today is the 69th anniversary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. Dayasiri Jayasekara reveals plans on embarking on a new endeavour. Chandrika Kumaratunga pledges support to youthful leadership. Court of Appeal informs district returning officers to refrain from taking any action regarding 38 UNP local government members until the 10th of September.
A very good evening. This is Primetime News on TV1 and moving on to your lead story this evening. Now another tremor has been felt in a number of areas in Kandy, including Haragama and Anuragama. Now the engineer in charge and the deputy director of the Richter Reservoir, Vasantha Helapitiya, said the tremor which occurred prior was recorded as a 3.5 magnitude tremor on the seismometer.
According to the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau, the tremor was reported at around 7:06 this morning. It was also recorded at the Pallikale Centre of the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau. There is a possibility of a serious catastrophe occurring. On an earlier occasion, a house in Digana sank to the ground. Special attention needs to be given to this. I feel this is originating due to a collapse of metamorphosed limestone layer extending from Gonawala. The Geological Survey and Mines Bureau said a team consisting 6 members are continuously conducting investigations regarding the tremors. On the 28th of August, a tremor was reported in Haragama, Kandy at around 8:32 p.m. The Department of Government Information announced this afternoon that the tremors were recorded as minor tremors at the Pallikale and Mahakanadarawa seismic stations. However, these tremors have been recorded to be on a scale of 3.5 magnitude on the seismometer at the Victoria Reservoir.
පහුගිය අගෝස්තු 29 වෙනිදා රාත්‍රී 8:32ට සිදුවුණු
Both the tremors were recorded on the seismometer installed at the Victoria Reservoir. According to the reading, the tremor which occurred on the 29th was recorded as a 3.5 magnitude tremor. Today's tremor was drastically lower on the Richter scale. Those tremors were felt in areas such as Digana, Kundasale, Haragama and Anuragama. Both tremors have been felt more intensely in the area where the Victoria Reservoir is situated and is therefore a cause for concern. No damage has been dealt to the dam of the reservoir due to the tremors. None of the 2,000 odd equipment installed at the reservoir have been damaged either. What is the origin of these tremors? A statement issued by the Director General of Government Information today, quoting the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau, said the data collected on the recent tremors felt in the Kandy district revealed the tremors did not take place close to main plate lines or plate boundaries. The statement adds, attention has been drawn towards ascertaining the origin of the tremors, which could be either an anticipatory induced seismicity or due to a collapse of metamorphosed limestone layer. The areas of Haragama, Pallikale, Gurudeniya and Rajavella, where the tremors were felt, are situated above the Victoria Reservoir. Our correspondents revealed that large-scale limestone mining takes place in these areas in close vicinity to bodies of water. They also reported that controlled explosions are conducted in these limestone quarries.
These quarries have been operating for nearly 50 years. However, as of late, based on a circular issued by the GSMB, permission has been granted to carry out extraction in 3 categories, namely A, B and C. According to the circular, companies engaged in large-scale mining, which fall under the categories of A and B, have been carrying out operations. However, small-scale companies have been shut down.
Is it not apt to temporarily halt operations of limestone quarries, especially at a time where 2 tremors without accurate origins have occurred, and also against a backdrop where those have been felt at the Victoria Reservoir? We should exercise caution since 2 tremors have occurred within the span of 4 days. Mining in quarries situated in the vicinity of reservoirs should be halted temporarily, and permission should only be granted once proper research is conducted. This is a risky situation. There is no point in lamenting once the damage is done. Instead, we should be proactive and assess this situation.
අවශ්‍ය අවධානය යොමු කරලා තීරණ ගන්න එක තමයි.
Now, the Meteorological Department states that a decrease in rainfall is expected tomorrow. The department states that showers are expected to increase again on the 6th and 7th.
The highest rainfall in the last 24 hours was recorded in the Agalavath area in the Kalutara district. 344 millimeters of rain was recorded in the area. 290 millimeters of rainfall was recorded in the Valalavit area. In the Colombo district, Hangwella received 270 millimeters of rainfall in the last 24 hours. Several places along the Gol Wakkala Road, Gol Baddegama and Gol Mapalagama roads were inundated due to heavy rains. Our correspondent said that low-lying areas including plantations in the Akmimana, Imaduwa and Habaradu areas of Gol were inundated. Among them are several farmlands in the area that were destroyed. 15 houses in the Thorakoleae in the Malambalawa area in Ambilipitiya were damaged due to strong winds that blew across the area. This is how a number of houses in the Kajuwat area in Nirmalapura, Putlam were damaged due to strong winds last afternoon. 4 houses have been destroyed while 6 houses in the Veyangod area were damaged due to heavy rains. 35 people have been displaced as a result, and steps have already been taken to provide necessary utilities to those at the Attanagala Disaster Management Centre. The Kurunagala Colombo main road was also blocked as a result of the floods in the Minuangoda, Ambaghawatta area. Our correspondent stated that 20 houses were inundated due to the blockage of the Puakwatta Depa Ala area in Kattua Nigambo. Around 30 houses in the low-lying areas along the Kahatudua Diagama road were inundated. Our correspondent said that a canal in the area had been blocked and the low-lying areas were inundated. Meanwhile, the Disaster Management Centre said 202 houses and 40 business institutions have been damaged due to strong winds during heavy showers. The DMC said property damages were reported from Trincomalee, Mana, Badulla, Vaunia, Hambantota and Putlam districts. Landslide warnings have been issued to 5 districts.
Showers can be expected in the southwest, over and eastern regions of the country. Some areas may receive rainfall exceeding 100 millimeters. However, the significant phenomenon is that temporarily strong gusty winds may be experienced during rains. There is a possibility that branches of trees may break off, while the roofs of houses may also be blown off due to this situation. Lightning strikes may occur as well. We request the public to exercise caution during this period.
Now, 50,177 graduates joined the public service today. The appointment letters for selected graduates were handed over by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa at the Presidential Secretariat.
The President's Media Division said that a simple ceremony was held for 25 minutes to present the appointment letters for graduates who have qualified as trainees. The appointments were made as part of the government's efforts to implement a job scheme targeting 60,000 graduates, as stated in the policy titled Vistas of Prosperity and Splendor. 38,706 graduates who were offered appointments to the post of trainee were females. They would be offered employment in their respective fields based on their leadership capacity following a training. Upon offering the letters, the President had requested the graduates to actively contribute towards development.
It's important for everyone here to have some academic qualifications in the field that you choose. We will definitely provide training to you all. We will provide you with some basic training on leadership, ideologies and personal development. After that, we have specifically identified areas that need your service. There is a lack of teachers in rural and estate areas. We will deploy a large number of graduates to those areas. Also, we will deploy graduates to agrarian service centers, land registries, regional irrigation officers, wildlife officers, indigenous medicine hospitals, officers on fisheries, animal husbandry and minor export crops. The salary of a government employee is paid at the end of the day by people who pay taxes to the government by engaging in farming or fisheries and producing other goods. You must all remember that you must help these people when you carry out your duties. We have presented a solution to these problems in our policy. We will uplift the production economy. That is the policy of our government. All of you have a responsibility to work towards carrying that policy forward.
Graduates who were recruited as trainees for the public service reported to the divisional secretariats in their respective areas as well. Secretary to the Ministry of Public Services, Provincial Councils and Local Government, J.J. Ratnasiri, said that these graduates will be provided training on leadership and management in the state and private sectors. This process would take 4 months. These graduates will undergo a 1-year training period and would be provided a monthly allowance of 20,000 rupees during this period. Individuals whose names have been omitted from the list of selected graduates will be able to file appeals under the 12th of this month. According to the Ministry Secretary, these appeals can be filed to the Presidential Secretariat or to the Ministry of Public Services, Provincial Councils and Local Government.
Now, the Attorney General has said that a 2/3 parliamentary approval would be sufficient to pass the 20th Amendment. The coordinating officer to the Attorney General State Council, Nishara Charatna, elaborated on the matter.
The Attorney General had conveyed his opinion to the Justice Secretary on the 20th Amendment, stating that the proposed amendment does not attract the holding of a referendum in terms of Article 83 of the Constitution, and that it would be sufficient to pass the amendment with a 2/3 majority in Parliament as per the provisions of Section 82, subsection 5 of the Constitution.
Now, meanwhile, the 20th Amendment to the Constitution was approved at the Cabinet meeting today. The Cabinet meeting was chaired by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. More news after this short commercial break.
Welcome to our brand new show, The Role of Law. Doing away with these commissions, lock, stock and barrel, is really not the best course of action.
Certainly not, and there is no allegation with regard to the independence of the Bribery Commission.
Criticism and praise is the Constitutional Council.
If these provisions are problematic, why didn't they raise it? There was election-related corruption, misuse of state resources.
There is a contradiction between this provision in the 19th Amendment and pre-existing provision in the Constitution.
I don't agree that there's a conflict.
The law, the 19th Amendment and more, with Attorney at Law Surain Fernando tonight at 9:30 on the News First YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the news. Now, today marks the 69th anniversary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party.
Religious observances for the anniversary celebrations of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party took place today under the auspices of the chairman of the party, former President Maithripala Sirisena. A puja was also held at the Bellanvilla Rajamaha Vihara this evening.
Religious observances were held in line with the 69th anniversary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party at the Shrine of Infant Jesus in Slave Island. A group of party members, including the General Secretary Dayasiri Jayasekara, were present. 14 members of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party are working for us in Parliament. Although we had fallen to much worse position in 1977, we were able to uplift the party. Therefore, I wish to tell all SLFP supporters that the 14 parliamentarians from our side have been elected on behalf of their party. Therefore, we hope to carry forward this work plan while being in the party.
පක්ෂය වෙනුවෙන් ඒ නිසා වුන් පක්ෂයත් එක්ක ඉඳගෙන මේ ක්‍රියාදාමය ඉදිරියට ගෙන යන්න තමයි අපි බලාපොරොත්තු තිබෙන්නේ. පක්ෂයේ අනාගත සභාපතිතුමා ඔබතුමාද? නෑ.
Nothing has emerged to that effect. Our incumbent chairman will continue to serve in that position. An issue has not arisen regarding our party leadership.
නායකත්ව සම්බන්ධය ඇවිල්ලා නැහැ. ඒක මා පොරොත්තුවත් එක්කම අත්කල බඳගෙන යන්නද බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා ඔබතුමාලා තනි ගමනක් යනවා.
We have formed an alliance. We will operate under that. Let's see how we can take things forward in the future.
මේක ඉදිරියට ගෙනියන්නේ කියලා. හැබැයි ශ්‍රී ලංකා දෙස් පක්ෂ සභාපති මෛත්‍රීපාල සිරිසේන මැතිතුමා තාමත් කිසිම තනතුරක් ලැබුණේ නැහැ. තනතුරු ගැන එතුමා කල්පනා කරේ.
He wasn't concerned about positions. He didn't enter parliament for anything but to finish the work that he had done on behalf of the people of Polonnaruwa. We spoke about this when we met Prime Minister as well. He said that they would think of another position for him instead of appointing him to the cabinet. That has to be decided. It is not an urgent matter.
කතා කරන්න ඕන කාරණාවක් නෙවෙයි.
බණ්ඩාරනායක මැතිරියට කොහොමද එතුමිය නිදහස් පක්ෂ මොනවද කියනද දැන්
මෙයා තවදුරටත් උපදේශ.
She is still an advisor. She made a wrong decision during the presidential election and supported Sajit Premadasa. Therefore, an issue arose due to that. Let's see how we can join hands with her in the future. That is because she has rendered a great service to the party.
මේ පක්ෂයට විශාල සේවයක් කරපු කෙනෙක්.
Meanwhile, a special religious ceremony was held at the Nallur Kovil in Jaffna in line with the SLFP's 69th anniversary. Islamic religious observances were conducted for the 69th anniversary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party at the Devatagaha Mosque this morning. Meanwhile, former President Chandrika Bandaranayake Kumaratunga has said that she will continue to work towards forming a young generation needed to strengthen the party.
The people who had committed mistakes and were expelled are the ones who are claiming that Chandrika has joined the United National Party. That is false. We were not the ones who chased Madam Sirimavo from the party and suppressed us for 17 years. It was they who did that. We fought hard to bring this party back to power. In 2015, I made a decision alone. However, I didn't join the UNP. Although I didn't join them, when I expressed my support to them, everyone asked me to take over as party leader to repair the damage caused to the country by the government at that time. I then said that I cannot join the UNP alone and proposed to form an alliance. I was the one who proposed that. I joined the alliance and not the UNP because 49 other parties and groups, including the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, had signed the agreement to join them. The UNP was also a part of it. However, that alliance later collapsed. It was one person who caused its downfall. Nevertheless, I feel that this party can't be destroyed. This party that has a strong foundation and a noble vision, has a proud history involving great personalities, cannot be destroyed. Although a strong tree can be cut from the surface of a mountain, that tree can grow again if its roots are strong. It will take some time for this party to rebuild itself again. I don't know whether I will be alive at that time. However, I will extend my support towards forming a young generation to support the upliftment of the party.
The Sri Lanka Freedom Party was founded on the 2nd of September 1951 under the leadership of SWRD Bandaranayake, a party formed of Sangha, Veda, Guru, Govi, Kamkaru forces. In the 1952 general election, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party secured 9 seats in the House by appointing SWRD Bandaranayake as the leader of the opposition. In 1956, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, along with several other parties, formed a major force, the People's United Front, which secured 51 seats in the general election, making its leader SWRD Bandaranayake the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka. After the sudden assassination of SWRD Bandaranayake, Sirimao Bandaranayake took over the responsibility of the party and contested the general elections in June 1960 and made a landslide victory. It also made Mrs. Bandaranayake the first female Prime Minister in the world. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party faced various setbacks after 1977, but in 1994, Chandrika Bandaranayake Kumaratunga secured the power in the country as well as in the party. With the 2005 presidential election win, Mahinda Rajapaksa became the leader of the party. Under his leadership, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party entered a new path. Maitripala Sirisena, assuming the leadership of the party in January 2015, is another significant milestone in the history books of the SLFP. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party then formed a good governance government with the United National Party in 2015. In the 2019 presidential election, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party played an important role supporting the Podujana Peramuna to elect Gotabaya Rajapaksa as the 7th executive president of Sri Lanka, celebrating its 69th year in the Sri Lankan political arena. Even today, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party is a key partner of the current government.
Now, the Court of Appeal informed the district returning officers to refrain from taking any future course of action with regard to 38 United National Party local government representatives. The order was made after the Court of Appeal considered the petitions filed by the local government members against expelling them from the UNP and terminating their UNP membership for the sole reason of supporting the Samagi Janabalawega. The 38 petitioners requested for an interim injunction be granted preventing them from being expelled from the UNP. Further, they requested for an order to prevent the issuance of a gazette which states they were stripped of their party membership. The petitions were filed by 38 local government members representing the Colombo Municipal Council, and several other local government bodies were taken up at the Court of Appeal in the presence of Court of Appeal President AHM D. Nawaz and Sobhita Rajakaruna. Further consideration of the petitions will take place on the 9th of September. Now, a number of protests were held at different locations across Colombo today.
A group of graduates of the University of California from 2009 to 2013 staged a protest in Colombo this morning. They demanded that they be given jobs as soon as possible. They say that they lost their appointments due to non-fulfillment of certain qualifications when the present government launched the program to provide employment to graduates.
Due to the inefficiency of the CTC Institute, we were not able to apply for the graduate employment program. Even though 4,000 children received their degrees, there were delays up until the 24th of August 2019. We will have to wait for many more years. His Excellency, the President requests that we be given that opportunity.
The Joint Development Officers Centre today staged a silent protest opposite the Fort Railway Station, demanding the confirmation of their services and guarantees that their training period will not be extended. Later, the group marched through the Ministry of Finance, blocking Lotus Road and then proceeding to the agitation site. The group were given the opportunity of having discussions with officials of the Ministry of Finance. The Additional Secretary to the Ministry of Finance promised to submit the cabinet papers next week. After that, we met the Additional Secretary to the President. The Additional Secretary promised to inform the Secretary to the President, Mr. P.B. Jayasundara, about this. The All Ceylon Motorcycle Dealers Association also gathered at the protest site near the Presidential Secretariat this morning. They pointed out that they are facing a serious crisis due to the newly imposed import restrictions. The group pointed out that they are currently facing a number of problems, such as the payment of salaries to their employees and rent payments.
The importation of motorcycles again been restricted without any given period of time. The income of all these people will be disrupted and they will become extremely helpless in another 2 months.
This group also had the opportunity to hold discussions with officials at the Presidential Secretariat. Employees who were recruited to the Water Supply Board, Satosa and the Department of Archaeology on a contractual basis engaged in separate protests today. They demanded that they be made permanent. They also pointed out that some among them have already had their work halted.
We now cross over for a short commercial break.
I'm different to you. I'm doing a 100% Middlesex University Bridge degree with no compromise in Sri Lanka. How about you? Call 071115-1234 to enroll now.
Welcome back to the news. Now, Gammadda teams on the door-to-door campaign visited several villages today as well.
At a time when the concept of a smart classroom has emerged in the country, children in the village of Pudanvile in Mullaitivu are struggling due to the lack of a building to engage in their studies. These children are committed towards studying, even in a tent, as it encourages shared learning. Our team that toured the Mullaitivu district was informed about the land-related problems of the people. Despite the end of the war, the people are yet to overcome the battles faced in their day-to-day lives. For a very long time, the people of Pirambadi have been living in tents, as they do not have permanent housing. Children in the district are forced to walk several kilometers to their schools due to the lack of proper transportation facilities. Another Gammadda team toured several villages in the Ratnapura district. This included the village of Pettiagala, Ibule, Pambahinna, Dampitiya, Valegoda, Marutanna, Vikiliya, Haramitigala and Kumalgama. The people in this village spend their lives in fear, as their areas are vulnerable to landslides. Obtaining clean drinking water is also a massive challenge to these people. Our team in Polonnarua visited the village of Ulkatupota in the Hinguragoda Divisional Secretariat. They also visited the villages of Migasweva, Patokveva and Nikahenagama in the Madirigiriya Divisional Secretariat. The team also toured Ulpatgama, Sirikanduyaya and Atharagalava in the Alhara Divisional Secretariat. Although these villages are blessed with tanks, residents point out that the lack of maintenance have resulted in them not being able to use these tanks. It is due to this reason that these tanks become graveyards when there is no rain. Our team came across kidney patients in several villages in Polonarua. Farmers in Sirikaduyaya are facing a different problem. Even if the drought does not pose a problem to their cultivation, the failure to fetch a good price for their harvest has demotivated them. Our Gammadda teams will continue its door-to-door campaign with the Peradeniya University tomorrow as well.
The first pain unit in Sri Lanka, the London Pain Management Centre, was declared open in Colombo today under the auspices of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa.
The pain centre, established by consultant in pain medicine Dr. Namal Senasinghe, was declared open under the auspices of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa following religious observances. The centre is equipped to provide physiotherapy services to meet international standards and residential facilities for overseas and outstation patients.
I had retired from the NHS, so I opened this unit, named it the London Pain Management Centre. Why I named it London was because I want to give the same standard in London, but I will promise that I will live up to the expectations of the citizens of this country and maintain this in par with the English pain centres, or to be honest, better than those centres as well.
Now a special ceremony to incite blessings on the country was held at the Dhamma Vichaya Vihara in Katharagama yesterday under the patronage of Venerable Battaramulla Sinaratna Thera. A number of special pujas were organized to coincide with the Binara Poya Day. Later the foundation stone was laid to build a Vahal Kada for the second tallest statue of Goddess Gana Devi in Asia at the Dhamma Vichaya Vihara. Venerable Battaramulla Sinaratna Thera had also organized a Dansala for the participants. Now the preliminary report of the Presidential Commission probing political victimization was handed over to President Gotabaya Rajapaksa today. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa appointed a commission to probe political victimization in January 2020. The commission is tasked with investigating alleged political victimization of government officials, members of the armed forces and police, employees of state corporations and the public between January 2015 and November 2019. And in more news, the United States government through the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID, has donated 200 new state-of-the-art ventilators to Sri Lanka to aid in the fight against COVID-19.
The ventilators produced in the United States feature cutting-edge technology and compact and easily deployable.
The United States remains the largest single country donor to the response efforts globally, building on decades of leadership in life-saving health and humanitarian assistance. This donation also demonstrates the ongoing commitment of the United States to support the government and the people of Sri Lanka through this crisis. For more than 60 years, the U.S. government has supported Sri Lanka, investing more than $2 billion in sectors such as agriculture, environment, and natural resources, in addition to health, education, business development and trade, and good governance. In Sri Lanka, more than $6 million of our COVID-19 assistance has helped to very broadly strengthen clinical care while minimizing the risk of onward transmission to others, prepare laboratory systems for large-scale testing of COVID-19, train and equip rapid response teams to investigate cases and conduct contact tracing.
From the time the COVID-19 outbreak was first detected in Sri Lanka, the political commitment played a major role in containing the epidemic in the country to this level. The National Task Force was established under the leadership of His Excellency the President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, bringing the Health Ministry, Triforces, Police, Intelligence and other related disciplines together. The tireless efforts taken by the Sri Lankan authorities of the relevant sectors were complemented by the support received from the different development partners, including the USAID, based on the strategic preparedness and response plan for the COVID-19 in Sri Lanka. These ventilators will be distributed among the secondary and tertiary care level hospitals in the country and would serve to save the lives of many people during the time of COVID-19 and afterwards.
The Certified Institute of Management Accountants convened a media briefing today to launch its first ever virtual career festival.
The virtual festival, named 110%, is a week-long event that will be held from the 13th to the 19th of September this year. The virtual festival will feature a diverse list of key speakers across different industries and host several events, including a hackathon and an elevator pitch segment where a selected number of entrepreneurs can pitch their business ideas to well-known business leaders.
The 110% virtual career festival is something of a groundbreaking event that the SEMA Sri Lanka has put forward today. This is going to see different aspects of our syllabus brought to actually fusion and brought to action, and it is actually with the opportunity of giving our potential students, our young members and also non-members, to expose them to the diversity of our qualification.
The potential opportunities for finance professionals were also highlighted during today's media briefing.
The Colombo Port City, there is a component of it becoming a financial hub. Right? For me, that excites me more than any of the other buildings that are coming up. There is no financial center between Dubai and Singapore, right? And Hong Kong is a mess, right? There is an opportunity for a financial center in South Asia.
The virtual festival is open to everyone and can be accessed via the SEMA Sri Lanka Facebook page.
So with that, it's a wrap of primetime news for the day. For News First, I've been John Fernando, along with our sign language interpreter, Brian D. Cruz. Take care and good night.